In this video, I wanted to talk about this new World War Mafia event that's coming soon. Now, in case you don't already know, the pre-registration phase already began like 6 days ago, and now there's only 3 hours left to register for this event. So if you haven't registered, then click on this register button here. You can select a time zone, and you can also select whether you want to be a commander or not. Now, if you don't select this option, then the odds of you become a commander will go down significantly. If you do select it, then the odds of you becoming a commander goes up. So now let's talk about how this event works. Now, I have no idea how the event works. I'm only going to speculate in this video, but I've read all of this information, so I'll try to condense it all in this one video. So this event has 4 phases. There's the pre-registration phase, during which you simply register for the event. Then there's the matching phase, during which they'll form groups of 20 leaders from different cities. So 20 random leaders from different cities will be placed into one group, and that'll be your group for the event. There will also be a commander for this group. Now, I'm not sure if there's going to be only one commander per group or if there are multiple commanders per group. They haven't really mentioned that in the tips. But my guess is going to be that there are probably going to be like 2 or 3 commanders at least, if not more, because I think 1 commander per group is a very small number considering that there are 20 players per group. Now, the next phase after that is the round robin phase. And this phase will have 6 groups that compete against each other in a round robin tournament format. So this is how it's going to work. A group has 20 leaders, as we just saw, and then the round robin group is going to have 6 of these groups. So group 1 will have 20 players, group 2 will have 20 players, and so on. Now, if you're in group 1, then on the first day of the round robin phase, you'll have your first match against, let's say, group 2, and this match will last 1.5 hours. Then on day 2, you won't have any matches. On day 3, you'll have your second match against group 3, again for 1.5 hours, and so on. It'll go on until day 9 when you have your last match against group 6 for 1.5 hours. So basically, every single group in the round robin group will face every other group in that group. And whoever wins these matches will get 1 point. So for example, if in this match group 1 wins, they get 1 point and group 2 will get 0 points. If in this match group 3 wins, then group 3 will get 1 point and group 1 will get 0 points. And the next phase after the round robin phase is the round robin exhibition phase. Now, during this phase, they simply display the results. Nothing really happens during this phase, so they just show the results of the round robin tournament in this phase. So let's say if group 1 got 6 points during the tournament, they'll show that group 1 has 6 points. If group 2 got 3 points, then they'll show group 2 got 3 points, and so on and so forth. Now let's talk about the event. So in this event, they show you all of these different family symbols, and they make it seem like the family that you're in will determine which group you're going to go into. However, they don't really mention anything about the family that you're in inside the tips, so I actually think that it doesn't really matter which family you're in for this event. So even if you're in the Yakuza family, you could still be placed into the Cosa Nostra group, in my opinion, because they don't mention anything about a grouping being based on your current family in the game. But we won't know for sure until the event actually begins. Now, in this event, you'll have buildings that are linked by roads. So for example, in this picture, you have building A, B, and C. Now, building A is linked to building B, which means if you've occupied building A, you'll be able to attack only building B because there's a road connecting A and B, but you cannot attack building C because there's no road from A to C. But if you've occupied building B, then you'll be able to attack both building A and building C because there are roads connecting both A and C from building B. Then there is this point dropping mechanic, which basically means if your opponent has occupied a building and then you go and occupy it, the points that your opponent has collected in that building will be dropped nearby, and then you'll be able to send your ops to those points to grab them during the event. And finally, there are buffs in this event that you have to select before entering the battle. So for example, if you select this purple buff, then whenever you fight in this purple building, you'll get an extra buff during those battles. If you get this green buff, then whenever you fight in the green buildings, you'll get an extra buff in those battles, but you won't get any extra buffs if you're fighting in the other orange or yellow buildings, let's say. So that's how these mechanics work. Now, I think the map is probably going to look something like the Clash of Mafia map, since it's going to be between two factions. However, I think that each faction is going to have a headquarter on opposite sides of the map. So faction number 1 will have their headquarters here, let's say, and faction number 2 will have their headquarters here. And then the headquarters is probably going to be connected to these buildings by roads. So let's say if you're in this faction here, then you'll be able to occupy only this building at first, because this is the only building that the headquarters is connected to by road. But then once you occupy this building, since there are two roads from this building, you'll be able to occupy both of these buildings, and it'll be the same on this other faction side as well. And let's say if you eventually manage to occupy a bunch of these buildings, and let's say you manage to occupy this building right here, and since there's a road from this building to the headquarters of the other faction, you'll be able to attack the headquarters of the other faction. And if you successfully capture the headquarters of the other faction, you will win the event. So I think it has some elements from Conqueror's Path as well, because in Conqueror's Path, you're able to eliminate cities by capturing their headquarters. And I think it's going to be similar in this event, where if you manage to capture the headquarters of the other city, you will just win the event directly. But if you don't manage to do that, then whichever faction has the most points at the end of the round will win the event. So they do talk about headquarters over here, which is why I mentioned them in the video. So the group that occupies the opposing group's headquarters or has the highest score by the time the match ends will be declared the winner. So that is what I think the event is going to be like. Also, they mentioned that battles will result in 100% wounded, but I think that is only because this is the testing phase right now, and this is probably going to change once the actual event comes out. They might make it 60-40% or maybe something different, or it could just stay 100% even after the testing phase. I'm not really sure, but I think there's a high chance that this would change. So that is my opinion on the World War event that is coming soon. Let me know what you guys think about this event in the comments down below. Before I end this video, I'd like to thank all of my patrons for the support. To support me, you can find my Patreon link in the description below. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I will see y'all in the next one.